Welcome all, thanks for tuning in to this video where we will be taking a first look at the Landmark editor. Rather than trying to explain too much about what it is intended to be, I thought I would just build a tool in the editor in this video and share it with you. Hopefully that will be the best way to kind of show what it's all about. But the best comparison or the best analogy we might make is between this editor and website editors or website builders. Think Webflow, Squarespace, Wix, dragging and dropping components into an editor environment, speeding up the process of building websites, whether that's your own website, building websites for your clients, for your business or team. The Landmark editor is hopefully going to try and provide a similar environment for building internal business tools, building roadmaps and dashboards for your clients, or if you manage a team, building internal tools. That's the idea of the Landmark editor, and it's going to all be hosted inside of Notion. So if you're already using Notion to try and build some business dashboards, tools, basically just make life easier for yourself and stay more organized inside of Notion, that hopefully this editor environment will be a handy tool for you to speed up those processes. So enough explaining. Let's use the editor to actually build a tool in real time. So from this home dashboard, it's probably going to change, but this is a prototype version that I wanted to give an inside look into. We have our projects here. If I create a new one, I can hit this editor project template, and that's going to load up not only a new project, but the editor itself. You'll see what I mean in a few moments when this loads. Let's take a quick break. This could take a couple of minutes to load, and we'll get back into the project. Okay, so it seems to be loading in about 60 to 90 seconds, but that might be different on your device. So what we're going to do is create an email hub as our build for this demo. I'm just going to label it slightly differently because this is the project that will appear in our database, in our dashboard, and then this is the actual editor that we will be building from. So let's just quickly name this as the email hub, and this will be the hub that we share or use. You can see there are some quick instructions to get us started. And then in the left menu, we have the editor. So just quickly, there are only 3 pages in the editor to start with. So we have our home page, which automatically gets linked with this, this hyperlink here. We have a new page template, which is going to help us spawn new pages for the workspace. And we have our map, which hosts all of our databases, which are what kind of fuel the components and the other aspects of the editor. But very quickly, there are a couple of steps we need to take to make sure that the editor works smoothly. It's a little bit tedious, but it's worth it. It makes life much easier. So I'm just going to do that very quickly, and I'll probably give more guidance on it in another video. But first step, we create a synced block out of our menu. So I'm just going to take the whole call out block and turn it into a sync block. I can hit copy and sync or Command C, Control C. Then I need to go in and configure this template. So make sure that the call out is copied to our clipboard. Go into the new page template, and there's a little instruction here for you. So I'm going to create a new block and just paste that whole menu here. That's the only time we need to do that. And from now on, whenever we create a new page, we'll have our synced block menu in there, which you'll see is very handy. So I can hit back here, or I can actually just hit the home page and it'll take me back to the home of our project. One more copy paste and adding it into our map so that we have a copy of our synced menu in the map. Delete the instruction, and we are good to go. So we're ready to start building. I can delete these instructions. And my goal for this demo is not to actually build the best email hub possible, because I would probably go overboard and it would be too complex and it would take too much time, more importantly. So let's just try and build something in 10 minutes that could be, feasibly used by you or by your client or by your team as an internal tool. And the goal is going to be, let's just write that here. I'm typing with a microphone in front of me. It's a little bit odd. But the purpose of the hub, what are we going to use it for? We're going to use it to help plan, organize, create, and manage performance of our email marketing, or just our emails in general. That might be even too ambitious for this quick build, but let's just get a quick little, so let's just actually repurpose this home, this kind of welcome page for the project. Let's repurpose that as a little space to planning the build of this email hub. So key pages or key areas of the hub. So what do we say here? We said plan, organize. Is organize a page? Maybe not. I'm just going to kind of quickly brain dump. So forgive me if this is a little bit rambling. I haven't built the email hub before, but I'm just hopefully the process of me going through building it in the editor will be more helpful than the actual email hub itself. So some key pages, let's just kind of quickly scope that out. So planning, organizing, that's probably not, doesn't even need to be a page in itself. Planning, so that would include things like campaigns. It would include any research that we do. Maybe we would want to check out our competitors and see what they're doing with their email marketing. Maybe just some general, maybe like a brainstorming page as well would be useful. Creating stuff. So we're going to need the emails. We're going to need a list of emails that we're actually, maybe a table of emails that we're writing and tracking. Probably want like a tasks or actions list. Performance, things like open rates and click-through rates and replies, maybe. I don't know. Depends what you're keeping track of. So if we're going to have these performance goals, then part of the planning, we're probably going to have some objectives, some targets. All right, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I want to get into the building. So I'm going to create a new page, and that is as simple as hitting the new page button. And because we did the work of syncing this menu into our new page template, when you spawn a new page, it exists inside of the menu, ready to go. And wherever we go on the workspace, our menu will be updating as we're creating new pages and spaces. So that's quite nice. So I'm just going to quickly remind myself of what was on the list here. So let's just create some pages, and then we can kind of piece them together from here. So one of the pages we said was going to be a campaigns page. So I know that there's a component for that. Oh, there's a timeline component for projects under operations. So if I hit that, I should get a nice big timeline with some dummy projects. I can just drag that in here, and this will be our campaigns page. There's a list view as well, and there's an archive. Thanks to Notion's recent database update, which is awesome, by the way, we can actually have the archive very neatly tabbed within the database. So I like that. But what am I thinking here? So we've got an email hub we're trying to build. We've got some campaigns, and there's some pre-tagged sections which are not so relevant. So what would be some good tags for email? Newsletter, maybe newsletter campaigns, other uses of campaigns, sales and promo. Those are kind of other types of email campaigns we might want to do. And company updates, is that part of the newsletter? Anyway, let's just say that those are three types of campaigns we want to be running. I don't have any ideas for newsletter campaigns right off the bat, but that means we probably need an ideation and brainstorming page. So I'm going to do that, create a new page. It's going to take me there. And let's just call it, so what do we want to brainstorm? Let's just call it brainstorming. Let's give it a brain as its icon. And by the way, I'm dragging these pages up here, and I can delete this instruction because I want to keep the new page button kind of free and clutter free. So that's why I'm doing that. Brainstorming, what are some things that we want to brainstorm? Campaigns, no doubt. Actual emails, the content within the maybe like some tactics and things like that. When we look at our competitors, maybe there are some cool tactics that they're using. So we would want to brainstorm a few different things, which is making me think we might have some tabs. So if I want to create some tabs in this brainstorming, think of it as like a folder. So if I want to create this brainstorming, I want to turn the brainstorming page into a folder, I could create some tabs. So I go into layouts, find the tabs. It's going to take me to a page that's not very exciting, just because that's what Notion does by default. I would let that load, but it's taking some time for some reason. And it's taking time to spawn. So if I hit that again, it's probably just going to create another one, which is not what we want. Okay, it's loaded. So this is a page, but as the instruction tells us, if we turn it into text, we're going to get what we want, which is these tabs. So I'm going to delete that. And if you hit one more backspace, it'll take you to the format that it should be in. And this will be our list of tabs, and these will be our items. So it's a little bit awkward because I was planning it separately here. But basically what I'm thinking is I will want a tab within the brainstorming folder for, so actually let's just do like an overview. So that's going to be this page. For brainstorming campaign ideas, maybe, okay, the emails themselves. I said tactics as well. And I'm actually thinking maybe sequences, like workflows, could be a useful thing to brainstorm as well. But let's just leave it at that. And now I'm going to create a page for each of these. So I can just do that quickly. New page. First one is going to be campaign ideas. I'm wondering if this is already, this video is already going to be too long, but we'll see. Campaign ideas, what else did we say? We said the emails themselves. So we want to brainstorm email ideas. And we had another one, which was tactics, right? I don't even know if that's a useful thing, but we can create as many pages as we want, so we might as well do it. And now the quickest way to set up these tabs is going to be to drag these pages that we've just created into this. Let's just make this clear what it is. Brainstorming tabs, or you can call it a folder if you want. We can delete this now because that was just to get ourselves ready. And now this has all the pages for our folder. So I'm going to link these tabs to these pages, and that's actually quite a quick process. You can, I'll do it here so that it's more obvious. Right click on that page that we just created. I've copied the link, and now I can just hit Command or Control V to copy it into that page, and that's now linked to this page. So again, copy the link for our email ideas, copy the link for our tactics page, and the overview page is this page that we're on now, so I can get it from here, or I can just take it from the menu because this is the page that we're on here. Last thing I'm going to do, you don't need to create these tabs if you don't want to. I just want to show how it might be done if you were to. Create a sync block from that page, and like we did before, copy paste it on to those pages that we've just created so that we have this nice little top tabs menu. So that's kind of a bonus feature. I don't know how you want to call it. If you wanted to have a little top tab within a folder, that's how you could do it in the editor quite quickly. This would normally take a lot longer to set up with the editor there, with everything you need kind of there and ready. So I think this is a rather nice solution. So we said we wanted to come up with some email ideas. I know there's a component for, well, there's actually the emails table, and I think that database itself has an ideas view. So that's just as easy as creating an emails table like that. There are some dummy items in there. If I just go to the ideas tab, then I have I can just have this as kind of our brainstorming section. We could make it a board as well if we wanted to drag ideas around, but we're trying to keep this video quick. Tactics, not sure. I guess maybe what we're going to do then, if we're doing the old brainstorming folder, then let's use this Incubator Board. So let's create that quickly. Hopefully quickly. It's loading. We've got a board. I'm going to drag that in. And that's what we can do actually. Instead of these tags, let's do campaigns. Or we could create multiple boards. Now let's just do this quickly. Campaign, ideas. The incubator board is just, we have an ideas column. Then when you shortlist an idea, you move it into the shortlisting column, which should be here. And then the ones that you select, we could go and actually create a campaign for, so that we don't fill up this timeline with a bunch of ideas that aren't actually going to be built. We have our kind of precursor to the campaign creation is our ideas board. So if we had an idea for a campaign, which was what's coming up, Easter sale, let's say that was an idea, and we're not sure if it's good or not. We're just going to drop all of our ideas into this campaigns subgroup. And what were the other things that we had? So we already have a table of ideas for emails, but maybe we just wanted to have this in this board as well. So just like email ideas. Yeah, that's fine. Tactics. Maybe we even have the brainstorming section for tactics. And this is actually, now that I'm looking at it, this is covering all of the tabs that we created. So maybe we don't even need all the tabs after all of that, but at least you get to see how tabs are made. So if I were doing this, I would probably drag this back to the overview. You can't do it through there, but I know that this is the page that I need. And so now our brainstorming overview it's getting shoved all the way down here. Now this has our campaigns, it has our email ideas, and it has tactics. So if we ever kind of have an idea for any of those tags, we can come here and we can add it. Look, not perfect, but I'm trying to do a quick build here. So let's just remind ourselves what else was on the plan. Let's make a research page and a competitors page. Maybe research, maybe within research we can do competitors. Research. Let's give it a little search, magnifying glass. There's a component for research library. I've forgotten where. In strategy. Probably not the best place for it. Drag that in. We have our research library. I would probably create the competitors table as a tab within research, or maybe there would be a strategy folder eventually, and that would be where I would put competitors. But right now, let's just create the page. So competitors table. Loading. We have our competitors. Let's label it. If I can't type it. And I like the bicep as the competitor emoji, but that might be controversial. So now we have our campaigns. Let me close this. We have our kind of tags that we think might be helpful, types of campaigns. We have a brainstorming section. We have a research library. I would update these to be more relevant for our email hub. We have a little competitors research tab. Maybe we're going to combine these. Okay, starting to come together. Objectives. Yeah, we probably need to set some targets. So let's say objectives. Give it a target and drag it up here. And there is an objectives board or gallery as well. By the way, these components that are spawning, oh no, it's doing something odd. Okay, well, it's just going into a default view. I might have to create it in a call out box instead. Anyway, these components, if you were wondering how this all is actually working, these are all linked instances of the underlying databases in this project. So every time we create a new project, we spawn a fresh copy of these databases, and these components are linked to those databases. So you can create as many of these components as you want, and it's not going to create a new database every time. Those are all linked instances, and you can create different views and you can edit them. So if I edit this objectives table here and I put my, I'm planning something else, or maybe we have our performance. So let's go like a performance page as well. And for some reason, I wanted to quickly get an objectives table in here as well. I could have another objectives table added, and I can adjust the view that I want for this performance page. And it's, as I update either, it's going to stay up to date across both. So that was probably a terrible explanation, but hopefully it makes sense. So let's say that this one, for whatever reason, we wanted to have a gallery view of the of our objectives, and we just wanted to show, we could filter it to show certain areas, and maybe that's, we have some different performance tabs and we just want to quickly check how we're doing on our objectives. But that was more to show how it's actually all linked up. So these are both instances of the original database in the map. Anyway, sidetracked. So let's remind ourselves. So these ones I think we've created. Yep, for our planning. Creating stuff. So maybe we need a tasks and actions page, probably. Okay, so to-dos, or you can call it actions, or whatever you prefer. Let's give it a little tick. I'm aware that I'm moving quite quickly. I don't know if that's making things better or worse. I'm trying to kind of get through this as quickly as possible without taking up 2 hours to build this. But if I am rushing through it and if it's more distracting than helpful, then do leave a comment and let me know. And in future builds, I can slow down and kind of talk through what I'm doing, if that's more helpful. But what I've just done here is I've created a new page, called it to-dos, and I've just added an actions board from the components list. So now, by default, it's going to do this priority board, which is something that I personally use and I like. And I've given some little tags to show what these different positions on the board mean. So the left to right is going to be the status of the task, and the top to bottom is going to be the priority. So HP is high priority, P1, priority 1, priority 2. So really important thing that you haven't started would go on the top left. Really important thing that you've completed and is ready to archive would go here. So if it's ready to archive, we can hit the archive button and it will go. I'll probably add an archive as a pre-built view here, but we could have an archived view of actions. Started, underway, still important. So you can get rid of these, or we can just rename them as we come up with stuff to do. So for our email hub, what's some stuff that we need to do? Maybe we want to research our competitors. I'm typing, but nothing's happening. Is it just slow? Okay. Cool. Research our competitors. If we wanted to give it some tags, we can, or a date. Doesn't matter. The project. Maybe we create a project that is just planning our campaigns or something like that, or we just don't even give it a project, so it doesn't have a project. Research competitors. Maybe, once we're ready, we write our weekly newsletter, and we could assign that to someone if we needed to. This is oddly slow, but okay. So we can, as you guys know, what a tasks and actions board is all about. But we could host all of our actions in this page now, so that's good. So we have a little section for that. The emails themselves. So I think in our brainstorming we had an emails table, right? So this is just ideas, but I think, so yeah, when we're doing our ideation, we could come over here and work in this ideas view, and then we might just have a separate page dedicated to our emails list, the full list of emails that we have sent, that we're preparing with their status, and the center of attention for this email hub. And we're going to need an emails table. So I'll create another one that is ready to go. And by default, there are some dummy items in there. It gives us our status, gives us the performance once we're ready. If we have inputted this data, we can keep track of click-through rates, open rate, and the actual click rate within it, and the send date when it was first sent. So the status by default, we have kind of the creation process, and then some emails are sent once and some are recurring. So this is like an automated email, then that might have an ongoingly updated performance metric. But this would be our emails table. And so if I were to use this hub, what's missing? So I'm looking to plan some campaigns. Once I have an idea, so I'd start with some brainstorming, probably, maybe. I might even start with objectives. Maybe I'd start with research. I don't know. No, I'm just rambling. So let's say I was brainstorming some campaign ideas. What did we come up with? We said, I had it all here, Easter sale. So I want to run an Easter sale campaign. And that's going to have to be in April, right? So Easter promotional campaign. Is there a rabbit? Yes, perfect. You can have some tasks. These priority scores, you can leave it blank. There's a project prioritizer as a component. So if you have built up a large list of projects, then you're not sure, which you should really be focused on. You can use that prioritizer with some quick scores to kind of help you rank what you should be working on for the moment. But until then, don't worry about filling out those properties. So we have our Easter promo campaign. Let's just say it goes through April. And so I have kind of decided that's going to be a campaign. Now I can head back to my emails and I can just go directly to the ideas tab. Maybe I have some ideas for our Easter campaign. So actually, I think this should probably be, I can update this for you all, but I think we could just use this as our subject line. Subject line, it's almost Easter that you're going to open that email, no doubt. Almost Easter. If it's an idea, keep it there. Once it's ready, we could add it to the writing. By the way, this ideas is not the same database as the actual emails database. So let's just quickly show you what I mean. The emails database is its own database, and there's also a content database which has email as a type. So when we go to this emails page, this, because of Notion's recent update, which allows you to link multiple database sources into one table. So just so you're aware, this emails is a separate database to this ideas, which is actually just our content ideas. So be aware of that. But emails, so let's say we have our idea, it's almost Easter, we say, okay, that's an excellent idea. Let's actually go ahead and write it. Let's say it's not started yet. We can, I should add this. I should definitely add a relation to the relevant campaign. So I will do that. But, I could just start writing it now. But if I want to assign it to a team member, or if I want to remind myself for later, now we have our to-dos section and we actually have something to do. How exciting. How high of a priority is it? I'm not sure. But let's say it's almost Easter. Email first draft. Let's write that. Okay, so now it's starting to look like we've got a bit of a hub forming. What else did we say we wanted? We wanted a performance page. We kind of have that with our email view, but maybe there are some other things that we would want to track in here. Competitor research, maybe we would want to have just a general kind of strategy page, or it depends on how you're using the hub, right? So if it's for yourself, maybe you would use the strategy page just to kind of help yourself think through what to focus on. An email strategy, maybe the strategy is to send a lot of emails, kind of be top of mind as often as possible. Maybe it's to really invest in design quality so that, your strategy is to just every time people hear from you, they just have an excellent aesthetic experience. Maybe your strategy is to invest in the copy and the messaging and story and this type of stuff. Maybe it's to invest in content and video and adding that into your emails. I'm not sure what your strategy is, but if you wanted to have a section for kind of outlining what the strategy is, either for yourself or perhaps even more, hopefully for your client or for your team, if you're managing a team, you could have a little section that is going through that. There is a kind of a key pillars format, which, you may or may not like this, but, if you wanted to just kind of outline high level after you've done your research, looked at what the opportunities are, if you want to just outline 4 key pillars, you could do that with this. And then one thing that I would probably add when I'm thinking through the strategy is just a workbook. So this is going to create a linked instance of our master notebook, which you may just use all around your workspaces. And so any kind of strategy thinking entries, you could have them in here. And then as you develop and think through it, you could add, key pillars. You could add, maybe there are even some tables. Maybe you would want to have a positioning board. So I'm aware of this page already getting a bit busy. But if I go to the strategy section, there are some common considerations for a strategy. So let's say we wanted to have, actually we don't need this big board. Don't worry about that. Let's just do this positioning board as an exercise. So you could have your 2 key positioning factors as part of this strategy overview. User personas, for me, that's always quite handy to have, especially if you're trying to brief a writer. So now we have a bunch of stuff on this page, and it's making me think we should create some tabs. So I would go to the layouts, create another tabs component or layouts or whatever you want to call it. It's going to open up a new page, and I'm going to go back to my strategy page, and I'm going to drag that tabs layout to the top, turn it into text, and then I would go about creating pages for maybe my notebook, my strategy notebook. For the key pillars might be another item, positioning might be another item, and user personas might be another item. So I already showed how to do that here with the brainstorming page and folder, so we could recreate that for our strategy if we wanted to. I'm wary, again, of going too, actually thinking too deeply about this and making some very overly complex setup. But if we just quickly recap what we've got. So in, how long has it been? 30 minutes. We have planned the build here. We have created a little research section. We have a brainstorming view, some separate brainstorming views and tabs to go through. We can plan our campaigns here. We can, from our campaigns, we can directly plan out the emails that we're going to write, and we can actually see our performance all within this view. We can set ourselves some objectives, maybe actually that these are relevant. So our open rate and maybe this mailing list. We have some targets for growing the mailing list. Competitors, if we wanted to, we didn't actually spend any time on this. If we wanted to just list what our competitors are doing, I would probably repurpose this table, this kind of default table, to be more relevant to email marketing. So instead of like market size, we could, if we were doing research on our competitors, we could find out how large their mailing lists are, entry price. Maybe that's not helpful for us, but we could do something like the frequency of how often they're sending emails out. We're trying to understand, their email strategy and tactics. And so we could just kind of, maybe they're doing it once a week, twice a week, 3 times, twice, once, I don't know. Mailing list, the products, maybe that's helpful just to remind ourselves what products they're offering, the type of competitor, direct, indirect, tertiary. There's more info on that in a video covering the competitors' database. Onboarding, that may not be relevant, but we could repurpose this table. I think I would want to repurpose this table to be more relevant to email marketing and these competitors' email marketing efforts. But we have a section to do that, so it's nice. Performance, we didn't really do anything with performance, but I would probably add another one of the email tables that's just a focused view of how our emails are performing on these factors. So I probably just remove or hide all the other views and just show the details of these tables. We have our emails view. We have our actions board for our to-dos. And look, there's probably plenty more that we could do to make this hub better. But as a start, you can see that hopefully you can see that using the editor at the very least is a very quick way to experiment and test and build quite well-functioning workspaces and hubs that are, relatively complex within, 20 or 30 minutes. So if you were on a project building this out for your client, maybe, and instead of just handing them a deck at the end of the project saying, this is your email marketing strategy and your roadmap, if you could hand them a hub like this, which actually, you could input the key projects and campaigns that you've come up with, you could input the objectives that they're working for, they could assign tasks to their team. This is why I personally love using Notion as not only a tool for planning and working on my own business, but for delivering outcomes with clients because it's very, very dynamic and interactive. So a little bit of rambling, but hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully this was an exciting introduction to the editor. There's a lot of work still to be done. I would love to hear your feedback on which components would be most helpful for you. Any ideas that you have for layouts, for forecasts, basically what is it that you all are using Notion to build for your own business, for your clients, or even as products. So if you are creating products to share or sell in Notion, what is it that you're creating, and how could we improve this editor environment to just speed up everything that you're doing? That's my goal. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and please do get in touch or leave a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Thanks for watching.